Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why some men fall in love quickly, while others seem to pull away no matter what you do? What if I told you it's not about chasing him, changing yourself, or waiting for him to realize he loves you? It's about understanding the secret psychology of the male brain, the hidden triggers that make a man feel deeply, passionately, and irreversibly attached. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly how men fall in love, why they commit, and how you can naturally become the woman he can't stop thinking about without playing games or losing yourself in the process. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will change everything about how you approach love. If you want, I can also create 3 more ultra-powerful, slightly different versions of this hook that are even punchier for social media or video content. Do you want me to do that? Ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment that love isn't just a feeling, but a language that men often speak in ways that are completely different from what you might expect. Understanding how men fall in love isn't about guessing or assuming or waiting for signs that may never come. It's about recognizing the psychology of the male brain and how his emotions, instincts, and desires are wired when it comes to connecting with someone he truly cares about. This isn't a formula or a trick, it's insight, it's clarity, and it's power. And once you understand it, everything changes. Men fall in love in stages, often unconsciously, and each stage is shaped by deep psychological drives. The first is attraction, and it's not just about looks, although yes, physical attraction matters. It's about how you make him feel when he's with you. Men are drawn to confidence, to presence, to a woman who doesn't just occupy space but owns it. Think about it. The male brain responds to certainty and authenticity. When a woman is clear about who she is, what she wants, and how she carries herself, it triggers a sense of admiration and fascination. Men aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for a woman who commands respect without demanding it, who radiates strength without arrogance. That initial spark, that magnetic pull, is the first step toward love. But attraction alone is not enough. Men also fall in love when they feel needed, not in a clingy, dependent way, but in a way that taps into their sense of purpose. There's a deep evolutionary wiring in the male brain. Men want to protect, to provide, to feel like they matter. When you allow a man to see that you value what he brings to the table, his skills, his wisdom, his humor, it awakens a profound emotional response. You don't have to ask for validation, you simply create an environment where his efforts are acknowledged. And here's the secret, it's not about flattery, it's about recognition. When a man feels recognized for who he is and what he contributes, his attachment deepens, and what started as attraction begins to evolve into emotional investment. Then comes the stage that many women overlook, admiration. Men fall in love with women who inspire them, women who challenge them, women who exist as a force beyond just being sweet or nice. The male brain responds to complexity. The more layers you have, the more he wants to uncover them. If you live your life fully, pursue your passions, and maintain a sense of mystery, you trigger his curiosity and his desire to engage with you on a deeper level. Love grows when he sees that being with you isn't just comforting, it's exciting, stimulating, and transformative. Another crucial element is emotional safety. Men may not always express it verbally, but they fall in love when they feel safe to be vulnerable. Think about it. Vulnerability is strength. When a man can show his fears, his dreams, his insecurities without judgment, he begins to connect on a level that goes beyond the superficial. This doesn't mean you fix him, or that you carry his emotional weight. It means creating a space where he can truly be himself. The male brain responds to consistency, to reliability, and to women who balance warmth with boundaries. You become the person he doesn't just desire, but trusts. And trust is the soil in which love grows. Here's where many women get it wrong. They think men fall in love through constant attention, through texts, gifts, or oversharing. But in reality, men often fall in love through absence, through space, through the moments when they realize life is better with you in it, even when you're not demanding their attention. The male brain processes connection differently. He may not articulate his feelings early on, But every moment he feels your value, your independence, your clarity, he's building emotional deposits in his heart. Love is a slow burn for men. It's incremental, it's cumulative, and it's incredibly rewarding when it finally ignites. Now let's talk about passion, because men fall in love when they feel a combination of emotional intensity and admiration. Chemistry matters, yes, but it's intertwined with respect. If he admires you, respects you, and feels the thrill of connection, his brain releases neurochemicals that lock in. Attachment. Oxytocin, dopamine, testosterone, they're all at play, creating a cocktail that makes him feel not just desire, but attachment, loyalty, and ultimately, love. The fascinating part is that his mind doesn't separate these experiences. He feels stimulated, understood, and needed all at once. This is why men often talk about catching feelings suddenly, even if they seemed emotionally unavailable before. It's the build-up of psychological and emotional resonance, not a single moment, that makes him fall. Another key principle is respect for autonomy. Men fall in love when they feel their freedom is honored. If you try to control, micromanage, or dictate his feelings, you trigger resistance. But when you appreciate his individuality, his hobbies, his goals, and his space, you create an environment where love can thrive naturally. The male brain craves independence alongside intimacy, and when he sees that he can be fully himself with you, without fear of judgment or pressure, he experiences love as liberation, not restriction. Men also fall in love when they feel that a woman understands them, without needing constant explanation. Emotional intelligence, empathy, and perceptiveness go a long way. The male brain is often conditioned to hide complexity, to avoid vulnerability, and to present strength. When a woman picks up on his subtle cues, celebrates his strengths, and navigates his moods without criticism, she becomes an ally in his life. He doesn't just want a partner, he wants someone who gets him on levels that few others can. That connection creates a bond that feels effortless and irresistible. We cannot ignore the role of challenge. Men fall in love with women who stimulate their growth. He wants someone who encourages him to be better, not someone who simply supports him without question. Challenge, in the right dose, ignites admiration and respect. It keeps the relationship dynamic, prevents stagnation, and deepens emotional intimacy. When a man realizes that his partner pushes him toward growth while still loving him unconditionally, he experiences a profound sense of loyalty and emotional attachment. And finally, men fall in love through consistency over time. Sudden bursts of affection or intense attraction are fleeting if they aren't accompanied by reliability, integrity, and emotional stability. The male brain looks for patterns. It craves signals that this connection is enduring, safe, and aligned with his long-term needs. When a woman embodies patience, understanding, and steady emotional presence, she becomes a cornerstone of his emotional world. Love isn't just about sparks, it's about the rhythm, the trust, and the shared journey that builds over time. In understanding the psychology of the male brain, women gain an incredible advantage, not for manipulation, but for empowerment. You begin to recognize the signals, to nurture connection, to allow love to grow naturally, and to honor your own worth in the process. Men fall in love not because of strategies or games, but because a woman awakens his admiration, inspires his growth, honors his independence, and creates a safe emotional space where he can be fully himself. This is the true power of understanding the male mind. It allows you to engage, connect, and attract love in a way that is authentic, confident, and profoundly magnetic. It's a process, not a moment. It's psychology, not magic. And when you grasp it fully, you realize that the key isn't in trying to force feelings, it's in creating an environment where the man's heart naturally, inevitably, and deeply chooses to fall. Now let's go deeper, because understanding how men fall in love isn't just about the obvious signs or the initial sparks. It's about the subtle interplay between psychology, emotion, and human instinct that unfolds over time. Once a man begins to feel attraction, respect, admiration, and trust, there are still layers beneath the surface that determine whether love will truly take root. It's not simply a checklist. It's a living, breathing process that can transform a connection into something lasting and profound. One of the most powerful drivers of male attachment is the feeling of being understood. Men often live in a world where they are expected to be stoic, in control, and emotionally self-sufficient. They are rarely given permission to slow down, to explore their fears, or to articulate their vulnerabilities without judgment. When a woman can intuitively read his moods, sense his needs, and respond with empathy, it triggers a profound neurological and emotional response. The male brain responds to emotional attunement with a release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone that reinforces attachment and increases his sense of closeness. This is why men often feel stuck in love without fully realizing why. It's the depth of emotional resonance that makes them crave presence, intimacy, and partnership. Simultaneously, men are drawn to women who maintain their own sense of purpose. Love is not just about need, it is about admiration, and admiration flourishes when you are living a full, vibrant life. Men fall in love when they see a woman who has dreams, passions, and ambitions of her own. It's not about competing with him or making him feel small. It's about demonstrating that your life is rich and meaningful, and he is invited to be a part of it. A man feels inspired by a woman who has boundaries, who respects herself, and who doesn't shrink her light to fit into his world. That combination of independence and warmth creates magnetic tension, a force that draws him in and keeps him engaged. We must also talk about the role of challenge and unpredictability. Men are wired to solve problems, to overcome obstacles, and to respond to situations that stimulate their drive. When a woman is too predictable or overly compliant, he may respect her but not feel that visceral pull of emotional investment. But when you are subtly challenging, curious, and multidimensional, it sparks his interest and triggers a natural pursuit instinct. He begins to invest emotionally, not because he feels forced, but because engaging with you feels rewarding. The male brain responds to challenge as a dopamine trigger, the chemical of desire and anticipation, and this is why mystery and personal depth are so critical in the process of falling in love. Another key component is the sense of exclusivity and emotional prioritization. Men fall in love when they perceive that they occupy a unique space in a woman's life. It's not about possession or control, it's about significance. When a man feels that his efforts, attention, and emotions are valued and reciprocated in meaningful ways, he begins to internalize the idea that this connection is rare and precious. He starts to attach his identity, pride, and emotional investment to you in a way that goes far beyond casual attraction. This is why consistency, attentiveness, and authentic engagement matter more than dramatic gestures or fleeting moments of intensity. Physical intimacy also plays a profound role in male attachment, but it is tied deeply to psychological connection. Men are not simply wired for physical desire, their brains associate sexual connection with emotional bonding. When intimacy is paired with respect, admiration, and emotional safety, it creates a feedback loop that strengthens attachment. Each shared experience, whether physical, emotional, or mental, releases chemicals that bind him to you and reinforce the perception that being with you is rewarding on multiple levels. This is why superficial or transactional intimacy rarely triggers lasting love. Men fall in love when intimacy is woven into a broader tapestry of connection, appreciation, and admiration. Communication is another critical factor, and it's often misunderstood. Men may not always express their emotions verbally, but they reveal their feelings through actions, priorities, and engagement. Love grows when a woman learns to interpret these cues, when she recognizes that he is showing up, investing effort, and making sacrifices in ways that align with his values. Men feel deeply loved when their contributions are acknowledged without judgment, when their intentions are trusted, and when they are given space to express themselves authentically. Women who understand this dynamic gain clarity, confidence, and the ability to nurture love without needing constant verbal reassurance. We cannot underestimate the importance of admiration and respect in maintaining long-term attachment. Men fall in love when they feel admired not only for what they do, but for who they are. Compliments are superficial, but genuine recognition, Acknowledging his strengths, his passions, his integrity creates a profound emotional bond. Respect is the foundation of desire. When a man feels respected, he experiences safety, pride, and a willingness to commit. Conversely, when he feels criticized, underestimated, or belittled, even subtly, his emotional withdrawal can begin without him fully realizing why. The male brain craves validation that aligns with competence and self-worth, and women who provide that environment nurture deeper love. Timing is another subtle yet essential factor. Men often fall in love not immediately, but over time, as experiences, consistency, and trust accumulate. The male brain processes emotional investment gradually, and it responds to patterns rather than isolated moments. Small acts of reliability, patience in difficult moments, and alignment of values slowly create a sense of security that deepens attachment. A man may resist or hesitate initially, but the cumulative effect of trust, admiration, and shared experiences can awaken profound feelings that feel sudden, even though they have been building for months. This is why rushing, pressuring, or demanding emotional declarations often backfires. Love must emerge naturally, not under duress. Another fascinating aspect of male psychology is the interplay between desire and comfort. Men fall in love when they find a woman who is both exciting and grounding. He wants a partner who challenges him intellectually, stimulates him emotionally, and brings vitality into his life. At the same time, he craves someone who is stable, reliable, and nurturing, a sanctuary where he can let down his guard. This duality creates a magnetic pull because men are wired to seek balance, adventure fuels desire, and safety fosters attachment. A woman who embodies both becomes irresistible on a subconscious level, triggering love that encompasses both passion and loyalty. Vulnerability is the final piece of the puzzle. Men fall in love when they feel safe enough to reveal their inner world without fear of judgment. This is not about weakness, it is about connection. The male brain is wired to release oxytocin and feel attachment when trust and vulnerability are reciprocated. When a woman listens, responds with empathy, and maintains emotional stability, he experiences a bond that transcends superficial attraction. He begins to integrate you into his identity, not just as a partner, but as someone who understands him deeply, inspires him, and anchors his life. Love becomes inseparable from your presence, and he begins to act, think, and dream with you in mind, ultimately understanding how men fall in love. About recognizing the balance between attraction, admiration, emotional safety, and authenticity. It's about creating an environment where he can be fully himself, where he is inspired rather than pressured, where he feels valued and challenged in equal measure. Men fall in love not because of manipulation or games, but because a woman awakens admiration, trust, desire, and emotional connection simultaneously. Every act of authenticity, every display of confidence, every moment of shared vulnerability builds the framework for profound attachment. Love for a man is the result of a complex interplay between biology, psychology, and lived experience. It grows when his brain and heart are engaged in ways that make him feel needed, admired, understood, and free. And the truly empowering truth for women is that by embodying clarity, confidence, and authenticity, you don't have to chase or plead. You allow the man to choose love freely and deeply. You create the conditions for a connection that is magnetic, transformative, and lasting. The male brain is wired to respond to subtle cues, respect, recognition, challenge, safety, and emotional resonance. When these cues align, the sparks of attraction evolve into the enduring flame of love. And the remarkable part is that this process isn't random. It follows patterns that can be understood, respected, and cultivated. Women who grasp these dynamics step into power, confidence, and influence over their own romantic lives. They understand that love is not a mystery to solve, but a natural outcome of alignment between two hearts, two minds, and two lives. By understanding this psychology, you gain clarity in every interaction, every conversation, and every moment of connection. You begin to recognize when his interest is genuine, when his investment is growing, and when your presence is creating an environment where love can thrive. This insight doesn't make love mechanical. It makes it intentional. It allows you to navigate relationships with confidence, patience, and grace, knowing that the male brain responds to authenticity, admiration, and emotional attunement above all else. And here lies the ultimate truth. Men fall in love when they are inspired, when they are trusted, when they are challenged, and when they are allowed to feel valued. Every woman has the power to create these conditions, not by changing who she is, but by embracing her own worth, her own vibrancy, and her own emotional intelligence. By doing so, she becomes the kind of woman a man doesn't just desire in fleeting moments, but chooses over and over again in the quiet, cumulative rhythm of real life. Now let's dive even deeper, because understanding how men fall in love is not a simple checklist of actions or behaviors. It's an ongoing, intricate interplay of emotion, psychology, and instinct that develops over time. Once a man begins to feel attraction, respect, admiration, trust, and emotional safety, there are still subtle but powerful layers that influence whether his feelings evolve into deep, lasting love. The truth is, love for a man is often a slow accumulation of experiences, emotional resonance, and consistent interactions that trigger both conscious and subconscious attachment. Men fall in love when they feel a sense of achievement in the relationship, when they see that being with you allows them to grow and evolve. The male brain is wired to respond to a sense of purpose and contribution. When a man feels that he is making a meaningful difference in your life, not through control, but through genuine partnership, he begins to experience deep attachment. It could be as simple as supporting you in your ambitions, making you laugh in stressful moments, or showing up consistently when it matters most. Each of HASSEY experiences reinforces the perception that being with you is rewarding, fulfilling, and uniquely significant. This feeling of being impactful awakens pride and emotional investment, which are core drivers of male attachment. Men also fall in love when they feel mentally stimulated and challenged. The male brain craves engagement and intellectual excitement. A woman who offers new perspectives, encourages curiosity, and introduces him to experiences beyond his comfort zone sparks intrigue and admiration. This is why conversations, shared activities, and playful debates can be just as powerful as emotional or physical connection. Men are attracted to women who bring richness into their lives, not just through beauty or charm, but through depth, insight, and curiosity. When a man feels that you expand his world, he becomes invested emotionally because he associates you with growth, excitement, and inspiration. Emotional rhythm plays a critical role as well. Men fall in love when they experience a balance of emotional connection, playful challenge, and independent space. If the relationship feels too demanding, too predictable, or too controlling, he may withdraw, even if he is genuinely interested. The male brain thrives in environments where there is a healthy balance. He can feel warmth, intimacy, and admiration, while also enjoying freedom and autonomy. Women who intuitively respect this rhythm create magnetic tension, a combination of closeness and space that naturally draws him in, strengthens attachment, and increases desire. Trust is another cornerstone. Men fall in love when they know they can rely on you emotionally, mentally, and even socially. Reliability is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent, communicative, and aligned with your values. When he sees that you keep your word, maintain boundaries, and show integrity, it triggers a sense of safety. Safety is crucial because it allows a man to reveal vulnerability, share dreams, and fully invest his heart. Without trust, attachment remains superficial. With trust, love deepens naturally, often faster and stronger than either of you could consciously control. A subtle but often overlooked factor is emotional mirroring. Men fall in love when they feel emotionally reflected, validated, and understood without constant explanation. When a woman mirrors his moods with empathy, recognizes his unspoken needs, and validates his perspective, she creates an unspoken emotional resonance. The male brain responds to this with increased bonding hormones, a sense of closeness, and subconscious acknowledgement that he has found someone who gets him. This emotional attunement strengthens the foundation of love because it satisfies a deep, often unarticulated need to be fully understood without judgment. Physical presence is intertwined with psychological connection in ways that are profoundly meaningful. Men fall in love when physical intimacy is paired with emotional safety and respect. Each shared moment of closeness, whether through touch, affection, or playful interaction, reinforces a sense of attachment in the brain. Men are wired to associate intimacy with trust, desire, and bonding, and when these elements align, attachment deepens quickly. It's not the mechanics of intimacy that create lasting love, it's the emotional and psychological environment in which intimacy occurs. A man feels connected, valued, and inspired when he experiences closeness that is authentic, balanced, and emotionally resonant. Admiration remains one of the strongest pillars of male attraction and attachment. Men fall in love when they feel that a woman genuinely appreciates their qualities, achievements, and character. This admiration must be authentic. It cannot be fabricated, exaggerated, or manipulative. When a man senses that he is respected and admired for his unique qualities, he experiences pride and fulfillment, and his brain responds by deepening attachment. A woman who can inspire admiration without demanding it becomes magnetic, not through coercion, but through the simple, undeniable effect of her presence and the way she perceives him. Timing and patience are critical. Men often process emotions slowly and incrementally. They may feel sparks of attraction early on, but require time to translate those feelings into love. Every consistent act of emotional support, respect, playfulness, and admiration builds on the last, creating an accumulation of attachment. A man may appear hesitant, distant, or non-committal at first. BU. This does not mean his feelings are absent. It often means that his brain is carefully processing patterns of behavior, evaluating trust, and weighing whether the emotional and psychological environment aligns with his long-term needs. Women who understand this dynamic cultivate patience and clarity, allowing love to emerge naturally rather than forcing declarations or pushing for immediate commitment. Another critical driver is the perception of uniqueness. Men fall in love when they feel that their partner occupies a special, irreplaceable place in their life. This does not mean creating dependency or limiting freedom. It means demonstrating through actions, presence, and consistency that the connection is meaningful and singular. When a man senses that he is valued in ways that are distinct and significant, his emotional investment deepens. He begins to internalize the relationship as a core part of his identity and experiences profound attachment that is resistant to outside disruption. Challenge and unpredictability remain central to sustained attraction. Men are wired to respond to novelty, stimulation, and intellectual engagement. A relationship that is entirely predictable risks boredom or complacency. By maintaining personal passions, creating space for growth, and being multi-dimensional, a woman keeps his attention, curiosity, and desire alive. The male brain responds to challenge as a trigger for dopamine, the chemical of anticipation and reward. This interplay between excitement and comfort, between novelty and emotional security, is what sustains long-term attachment and transforms desire into love. Vulnerability is a crucial element that ties all of these factors together. Men fall in love when they feel safe enough to reveal their inner world without fear of judgment or rejection. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is a signal of trust and authenticity. When a woman responds with empathy, understanding, and emotional consistency, the male brain releases bonding hormones that strengthen attachment and create a sense of belonging. This is why men often experience a surge of love in moments of shared vulnerability. It represents a profound emotional convergence, where attraction, trust, admiration, and desire align simultaneously. Men also fall in love when they perceive that a woman maintains her own life, purpose, and boundaries. Independence does not repel men, it attracts them because it signals self-respect, confidence, and emotional maturity. A woman who has her own ambitions, friendships, and passions communicates that her world is rich and fulfilling, and he is invited to participate rather than dominate. This dynamic creates mutual respect and admiration, which are critical for sustaining long-term love. Men are naturally drawn to women who balance warmth and strength, closeness and independence, because it mirrors their own need for both connection and autonomy. Finally, men fall in love when they experience a consistent pattern of positive emotional reinforcement, admiration, respect, safety, intellectual stimulation, challenge, vulnerability, and recognition. These elements do not operate in isolation. They compound over time, creating a complex, enduring attachment. The male brain is designed to respond to cumulative experiences rather than isolated events, which explains why love often grows gradually, even if it appears sudden from the outside. Women who understand this principle can navigate relationships with confidence, clarity, and purpose, knowing that true love emerges from a holistic alignment of emotional, psychological, and physical connection. Understanding how men fall in love is not about manipulation, tricks, or games. It is about insight, empathy, and intentionality. It's about recognizing the needs, desires, and wiring of the male brain and creating conditions where attraction, trust, admiration, and emotional resonance naturally flourish. Love for a man is as much about feeling inspired, respected, and valued as it is about desire. When these elements converge, a man's heart and mind align, and he falls in love deeply, authentically, and often irrevocably. By embodying clarity, confidence, emotional intelligence, and authenticity, a woman creates an environment where love is not forced. It is chosen, repeatedly and willingly. She becomes a partner who is not only desired, but cherished, whose presence ignites passion, admiration, and attachment simultaneously. This understanding empowers women to approach relationships with confidence, to recognize genuine emotional investment, and to cultivate love that is lasting, fulfilling, and profoundly transformative. Men fall in love when admiration, respect, challenge, emotional safety, and intimacy converge into a pattern that resonates with their deepest instincts and emotional needs. The process is slow, nuanced, and cumulative, but the result is powerful: attachment that encompasses desire, loyalty, and profound emotional connection. Women who grasp this dynamic step into their own power, understanding that love is not a mystery to be solved, but a natural outcome of alignment, authenticity, and mutual resonance. The male brain seeks connection that is meaningful, stimulating, and safe. When these elements exist simultaneously, love flourishes in ways that are both subconscious and conscious, emotional and rational. Women who cultivate this balance create a magnetic presence that naturally inspires attachment. They do not chase, manipulate, or coerce. I allow love to grow organically, rooted in admiration, respect, trust, and emotional resonance. This understanding is not just knowledge. It is transformative, empowering women to navigate relationships with confidence, clarity, and deep fulfillment.